welcome on into the least watched show on the internet. Two Fat Drunks. I'm JDV.
And I'm Wapig.
Welcome on into the Halloween edition.
Happy Halloween.
Of this episode. This will air just before Halloween. And in kind of what Alien and Halloween have in common, it's both the name of the movie and the name of the holiday or the creature or whatever. And it's
Happy Alien.
Happy Alien.
Every July 10th. It's Happy Alien.
Shut up. Already off to a great start. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the movie Halloween, John Carpenter's masterpiece that he made when he was in his mid-20s. Coming up next. Hey, happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Halloween. Wapig, good to see you, brother.
Happy Halloween.
We film this 1 week before Devil's Night. So we're real close. Right off the bat, before I forget, we are going to be, I think I'm just going to put it right up on our main channel, Five Must Die, which is our last film that we made. It's actually not a bad little film. It's about 82 minutes long, something like that. It's a fun little ghost movie. And so come on and check it out. Tell your friends. Check out Five Must Die coming up next week on the channel. So
here,
that should be fun. Also, hopefully we're going to have No One In, No One Out. Short horror movie. Of course, you're watching this episode now, so we're trying to get out some content. Also, check out our Making of Reanimated episode 4. It is kind of a fun look at what a very small crew can kind of knock out, and hopefully that episode of Reanimated 4 debuts on Thanksgiving Eve or Thanksgiving night. Because I do like watching horror movies and cheesy bad movies on Thanksgiving. I think because of MST3K.
Yeah, I like MST3K for that.
So anyway, how you been? What's going on before we get to the topic of Halloween?
Nothing. It's been as crazy as it can be. It's curious that I'm busier now under these weird restrictions than I was before the weird restrictions. And I ended up traveling more, which is just... And I can't even leave for work. So it's like, what am I doing? This is a lot of travel.
You have a job?
Yeah, I know, right? People actually pay me.
I mean,
shit.
In sandwiches.
Sure.
Money?
Oh, yeah. They give me money every now and again.
Sure they do, big fella. Sure they do.
I swear to God, I have my badge right here. They let me building and everything. What are you talking about?
Great. Anyway, so, check out all our content. It enabled that little notification bell thingy. I think it's down there as we record this. Because we are trying to come out with as much content as we can under these trying times.
These conditions.
So anyway, check us out. Like, subscribe, share, all that kind of bullcrap. Okay, so let's talk about Halloween. The night he came home.
The whole like, dun dun, ding 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 ding. You're like, ooh, this really sucks.
It's one of the greatest horror movies ever made, right? I mean, we both watched it this week. I watched it with my kids, first time they ever saw it.
No way, really?
Yeah, well, they're only 8 and 12, or 10 and 12.
I guess so. They're not that old. You, on the other hand.
Seemed like the right time.
You.
It's about as old as I was when I saw it for the first time. Probably was around 13.
You were in your 40s, right?
40.
Remember
That's right. I was scared as hell.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it is just incredibly famous film, an independent film. Avco, right?
What, Avco Embassy?
Or is it a Mufasa Akkad?
Mustafa Akkad.
Mustafa Akkad.
Yeah.
I don't know if he owned Avco or not. I don't think it was.
No, it was Compass. It was a Compass release.
That's
right.
Right.
That's what I remember about it. Yeah, it was Compass.
So really tiny, like
mighty
studio of.
It was basically Mustafa Akkad giving him money, like, okay, let's do it. Here,
right.
boom.
So let's talk a little bit about obviously how famous and gigantic it is. I would say that part of a big reason why the movie is so famous and so popular is because the score, I argue, is the best horror score ever recorded.
Yes. If you're expecting an argument from me on that, no.
Yeah, I mean, Alien is a great score. Jaws is a great score. There are Alfred Hitchcock's, Psycho. Fantastic score.
But dude,
it's not John Carpenter's Halloween. Yeah, it's just
as soon as that comes on, because look, those other movies you're talking about with those kinds of scores, they did have some money behind it. even Jaws
yeah,
still
but
was universal. I mean, this
we'll
is
get to
just like,
the mighty will conquer. The little guy can win in a second. But just take all that on the side. Just the best horror soundtrack of all time. Is it Exorcist?
I can't think. I mean, I've got Halloween and then a list of number 2.
Right. It's all the battle for number 2 because
Right.
the theme songs from that show are so incredibly strong that they are being copied. Right. This movie, the movie 1031, Scary Stories. I mean, there's all kinds of.
It created a genre of music.
Yeah.
They have like whole bands
Dark
just
horror
dedicated,
is-
like synth wave, dark wave.
Yeah.
What's that guy? Carpenter Brutt from France. And all those
Yeah,
guys.
I mean,
like if I
it's a
mispronounced it, I'm
score
sorry. It looks like Brutt.
So incredible.
Yeah.
That it's a miracle that the movie not only got close, but is equal to just that score. I mean,
Yeah, because the score is so strong.
great.
I mean, it's just and the score really makes the movie. If you watched Halloween without that music on,
Well, they did, and that's the thing is that
might not been it's
they
like-
watched I don't want to mangle his name, Mufasa Akkad.
Mustafa Akkad.
Akkad, yeah.
There you go.
He, he saw the final version but without music, and he was like, "No, I can't even release this piece of shit." And then Carpenter said, "Well, give me 2 weeks," and I'm pretty sure he crapped it out in just about more than a month, but I think it was more like 2 weeks.
Think about how that is so important.
And I know
it was
Carpenter
just like-
talks about it's something his father had actually taught him on the piano. That dinner, his I guess his 4 or 5 times, something like that. Some kind of weird time where it's almost in sync, but it's just off enough that
it's like a drive to it.
just the beat alone is creepy, right?
Because there's also there's like a one strident drum beat in the background. You can just make it out, but
It is the
Drives
king
the whole song.
of themes. They released it here, and nothing. And he had done Elvis, the movie before that. He did Dark Star. He had done some other stuff that was notable.
was that with Kurt Russell, that one particular one?
What?
The TV one that he did.
It was.
with
That's
Elvis.
when
I thought that was Kurt Russell as Elvis.
That's how he met Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Through the Elvis biopic. I think it was for NBC. Don't quote me. Movie of the week type deal. So he was in the biz, but he was at the kind of the very lowest level of Hollywood biz that you can be like very, like movie of the week back when they had $4,000 to make them.
One of our many directors.
Right, type things. And so, they made Halloween and went out and it did nothing. And he's like, well, I guess, fuck it, we'll go back to the drawing board. And then 2 things happened. One, it got over to England and was shown at, I think, a sci-fi festival there, a horror festival, something like that. And people just went insane. Like, holy crap. Yeah, look at this. And then I think the Village Voice gave it like a 5-star review or something like, you guys might need to check this thing out. It is an instant classic. And it just kind of ballooned from there and became...
Imagine getting a culturally relevant review from the Village Voice today.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Anyway,
it became a big, giant hit. And then it got on cable. Cable had really kind of just started becoming mega popular. It was one of the first
HBO,
big movies to go on there.
Cinemax.
And boy, they did show the hell out. Then, of course, you have all the sequels. You have the licensing of the mask. You have the selling of the soundtracks. I mean, how many sequels have there been? I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is in 2 different timelines.
That's how much
of sequels. Not even counting the first original 1 and 2. She's in 2 others past that.
It's wild that that's true because
it
if you
is
think
true.
about it, I mean, she did Halloween. She did that Scream Queen thing for a little bit and then was like in the A-list, like in the upper echelon of actresses.
Really?
But what I'm saying is, and came back to that genre. Where did she have to, or did she really, really like it?
I think it's a little bit of a...
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like... I get the feeling she had dough. You know what I mean? Because she did have a long-ass career. It's not like she wasn't only in Halloween. She was in tons of shit.
But I'm sure they paid her, and it's
and they
nice gig.
did that, but I mean...
But she didn't have to.
No, she
And
did.
she did anyway. And
just-
that's kind of, again, it points to just to how huge it is. I mean, the last Halloween that came out was a pretty big hit.
It was
Man.
culturally significant. I mean, it is a culturally significant because, again, it's just synonymous. As soon as you see the mask, you know what it is.
It still holds up. It's just
it
a
does.
great.
It was still a really
The
fun
photography
watch, man.
is insanely great.
How lucky do you get? Like, who's your cinematographer? Oh, it's this young kid named Dean Cundy. Like, oh,
He did this school called what? Satan's School.
Satan's School for Girls or something like
girls.
that, right? It wasn't like he was.
Not like
he was just.
There was nothing
the guy,
to make you think that he was
wasn't
going to
it
be the genius.
Deborah Hill's buddy or something like
Yeah, I
that.
think it
She's
might
like,
have been
hey
Deborah.
man, it's a friend of mine. He shot this movie, and you're like, all right, you're hired.
All right, so we'll talk about the production of it, I guess, now. But it's such a huge, massive hit from a film that cost, I believe, right around $330,000.
Something along those lines, yeah.
I mean, now even today, that's a huge amount of money in one sense. Like
Right.
if like a
if
mom
I
and
needed to
pop.
come up with it, I'd have a hard time.
What they got out of that film was something that looked like a very incredibly professionally well made, brilliantly shot,
It still looks
title,
great.
insanely great score, great
Yeah.
performances. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it feels like a Hollywood film, even though he had what was considered at the time an incredibly low budget for a feature
You
film.
made Los Angeles look like Illinois.
They made right, and part of how they did that is they had a bunch of leaves, fake leaves, you know,
and soon as you
and they
put
would
leaves out, it
they would
just-
put them out to locations, and then at the end of the wrap of that scene, they would
Go
pick
get the
up
leaves.
all the leaves and put them back in
leaves,
bags,
yeah, put
so
the-
they
you
could
need the leaves.
reuse them. And if you look close enough in some of the long shots outdoors, you can see some palm trees off
But
in the distance.
yeah, there's only a couple.
Only a
And
couple.
That
You gotta
that's
really be
hard
lucky.
to hide, dude. But they did so much to establish before that you're not even registering.
All intents and
it. You know,
purposes,
you're like,
it seems like they're in the heart
totally
of the Midwest,
That's hard
Haddonfield,
to do.
Illinois.
Hard
And
to do.
they have that great, amazing open shot that is all one take. Still one of the first films to ever use a Steadicam. I mean, in the top 10. I mean, ever.
Yeah, Michael going through the house first time.
Michael going through the house for the first time, and then there's the big, pull
First
out
time.
on the crane. Michael!
A young man's first kill.
I mean, just how
Looking forward
incredibly
to it.
sophisticated. They were kids.
Yeah.
They were like 23, 27.
Hey,
I mean,
man, let's just do this all
Deborah
in
Hill
one shot,
and John
bro.
Carpenter were like just kind of like young, like movie fan club couple.
But, hey, we'll just.
And he had gone to
something
USC.
great.
I think he actually won an Oscar as a student
Did he?
in a documentary, and then USC stole it from him. Wouldn't let him keep it.
Nice work, USC.
Yeah, I'm sure that's paid off in the long run, though, right? I mean, so obviously, right from the very start, it showed incredible talent. But to get Dean Cundy, another genius, another verifiable movie genius, but just in photography,
Just right at the right time.
to get Jamie Lee Curtis, to get Donald Pleasance in that
For
film
a couple days
that.
because wasn't it because his kid had seen Dark Star or something like
His
that?
kid saw, Dark Star and loved it and told him that he
should do it,
he should
right.
do it. That's right, his daughter.
But they only had him for a couple of days. I thought it was okay.
I think it was more than 2. I think they might have had him for 4 or 5, but it was not a very long time.
okay, you got him.
And isn't that funny that Donald Pleasance now is remembered most
It's Dr. Loomis.
as Dr. Loomis? Like
Right.
that made his career, and essentially it was this thing that he did as a lark.
As a lark at the end of his career. I
At
mean,
the- right, at the end of his career.
it was very. what
So
do you
one of
wanna
the things
say?
that about that film, and we're talking about it a little earlier, is just how many things have to go right to make a movie at all, and to
Right.
make a good movie.
To have
Oh my
something
God!
like that
and
be
to
one
make
of your
something like
efforts.
that where there's so little money, everybody's so young, and to knock it out of the park with such a massive financial success.
with emphasis.
Let's put it this way: they would not have backrolled The Shining to the tune of the money that they gave Kubrick if it were not for the success of Halloween. That was that is a direct response
You
to
think
that.
so?
Oh no, there's no think about it. That's
Really?
exactly why they did it, and they were super pissed at Kubrick afterwards because it did all right. It made
Right, but
some money.
Hey man, this was supposed to be
But
Halloween.
they made Halloween for $300,000,
difference.
and they made a gazillion dollars. They're still making money
Massive
off of
ROI
Halloween.
for that one film. Yeah.
There's a
Amazing.
sequel already in the can for Halloween 2 in the new timeline, which we're not even talking about Rob Zombie's version of the.
Right,
I
and Rob
forgot he
Zombie
even
made
did
his
it.
own versions. Like he made
That's like 4 times.
he made 2 of them, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made Halloween. I don't know if I can't recall if he did
I'm actually a fan of the Rob Zombie ones. I think it's really cool that they let him do that.
It is.
It is. I mean, it's not as good as John Carpenter's Vision or whatever, but it's still fun. I mean, it shows you what a great character Michael Myers, Loomis, and
that whole story you created. This whole like what do you want? If you wrote it as a book series, you could do almost like a.
I'm sure that. Well, I know they've done comic books. There's a fairly new comic book. It's very graphic, and they show Michael Myers just
laying waste.
Yeah, just laying waste to people, and it's weird how Halloween is more relevant now than Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
no doubt about it, man. That Freddy movie went nowhere.
Right, they just couldn't quite revive Freddy Krueger the way that they could revive.
He's more relevant than all those '80s monsters.
Yeah, even with Jason, it's
he's more relevant than. When's the last time there was a Friday the 13th movie? Well, they made a remake of the original.
Yeah, right.
12 years ago,
which was.
It's all right.
It's all right. There wasn't nothing to write home about.
I mean, they're going to be making Michael Myers movies though, to the end of freaking time.
Till they stop making money.
In part because
which they won't.
The soundtrack is always going to be there, right?
I look like a serial killer. I look like the guy like they caught. Like here's the.
And you smell like a
the mugshot right here it is. It's always like that blank expression, right?
Gary Anders was a normal family man until that day.
He killed 40 prostitutes in what Kansas City police are calling a reign of terror.
A good start.
We'll call it something like illegal briefs.
Right. It's like, I don't know, he always seemed perfectly normal. I mean, he kept to himself, he's a little quiet.
True, he had "Born to Kill" tattooed to his forehead and penis, which he showed often.
Bought butcher knives and plastic and a nylon mask, is that correct? Yes. Did you not think that's suspicious? No, not at all. Not at all.
No. Why do you?
We did talk a lot about phlebotomy, which was a curious conversation to have at a Walmart checkout, but there it is. The night he came home. This blank, emotionless face.
Then I spent the next 7 years trying to make sure he never escaped again. Try to understand what you're dealing with.
It's just pure evil.
The darkest eyes.
The devil's eyes.
Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.